Good morning. I guess it's still morning. Yep, 10:55. Got up about 5:30 this morning. Built a fire. Kind of cool, 40 something degrees. So rainy day. So I wanted to do the Saturday Stockman Stampede, and this was started by Terry's Knives and Man Stuff. I want to tell Terry I appreciate his decal. I got it up here, and Tim's School of Fish. I've got a decal from him right here, and I appreciate it. Appreciate both of them guys. Are good guys, great guys. I appreciate being a part of their knife community. So I'm gonna do a Stockman today. This Stockman, and it is an amber peach seed jig bone, made in 2/23/23. And I hadn't carried this knife. This knife is carbon steel, and you see that pretty amber jig bone. It's a 75. Great knife to carry, and this one, like I said, this one will be even better because it's got carbon steel. It's got that clip point blade there. General use blade. You can use that blade for about anything. You got the spade blade that's got CS on it, carbon steel. You can see it. Spade blade, we all know what that's for. I don't need to get into it. So, and then USA 6375 CS. It's on the sheep's foot blade. And they used to use this blade to trim the hooves of their animals, their stock. Stockman comes from ranching and farming. That's what this knife was created for. It's got some beautiful bone. This is one of my favorite bones, you know. I would say probably in the top 5. I would say top 6, top 7, something like that. But it's a nice bone. I've had it back here for a while. Said I hadn't carried it, you know. But not saying I won't. I swap them out sometimes, but so yeah, I'm down here in the leather shop today. So I figured I'd do this video. It's kind of a cool video started by Terry. So I do carry a Stockman pretty regular. It's just a good heavy duty knife, you know, to me. Get your fist around it. No gaps in this one. The blades. Ooh, it's getting hot in here with that stove. The blades are pretty good. I mean, they may be a little rub, but the way this, you getting three blades in here with this spring. You got 2 springs, so you know it may be a little bit, but you know I don't care. You know I'm gonna use it because I'm gonna scratch the blades anyways using it. So because it's a working knife. So that's the Saturday Stockman Stampede. Great knife. This thing is, I know most people know, but it's actually 4 1/4 inches long. So this is a good EDC knife, 4 1/4 long. Great knife to carry. So I kind of want to go into something else too. I want to give Richter a shout out. I watched his video yesterday, and man, that was probably the best video he's ever did. And they're good, they're all good, but he really touched me yesterday. He talked about his dad, and his dad's passed away, but he talked about his dad, what his dad carried, and how he, you know, he always noticed that. then he went into about knives, carrying knives, and how you kind of get attached basically, and they're special because you carry that knife. You carry, and I'll give you an example. You carry a knife, and it gets your patina on it that you've made. Now, I hadn't carried this in a while. I quit carrying it because you can see how that blade is. But I used to carry this large copperhead. It's a 80s, early 90s model. But you can see it's got carbon steel. It's got that brown, real pretty brown bone. And he talked about his dad, and and I kind of wanted to share a little bit about my dad. My dad was a veteran. It's Veterans Day, and of course I want to talk about that. My dad was a Korean War veteran. He was a combat veteran, so he saw combat. 2 years in the Army, and my dad was a good dad. He was always involved in what we do. He taught us the right things to do and raise us the right way. And he doesn't talk about the Korean War much. Once in a while, he'll say something about like he talks about all the blood and the way the blood smelled, and the way the dead bodies smelled over there. He could, all the dead bodies, and he talks about guy getting shot, and and he doesn't talk much about it because you can tell it bothers him, so he'll just kind of shut up about it and won't say anything. He'll just let little bits and pieces out. He talks about riding a train this way from California, and he rode the train by himself, went back home. That's when his parents lived in Atlanta. They raised him in Atlanta, Grove Park. So he talks about that, having a cheese sandwich. That's all he had. And he talks about stuff like that, and so, my daddy now, he's in an assisted living home. We go see him several times a week, make sure we go see him, spend a little time with him, he's my dad, he raised me and spent time with me. He made me kind of who I am. But Richter always talked about he's talking about what his daddy carried, and that touched me a lot, him talking about his dad, because I remember my dad carrying a pocket knife. He had a little not a sod buster, but a little old timer, and he had he had like 2 or 3 knives. He had a Uncle Henry, and those are small knives. Those are the little like peanut sized knives. He had that, and I got one of them. I got his little Craftsman knife. He carried a Craftsman knife, a little small one with black, I guess, Delrin or synthetic handles, and he always had him a handkerchief blowing his nose, and his billfold and his Timex watch, and stuff like that. Of course, he had a Zippo. He had a Zippo in his pocket because he smoked. And he always had a pack of Winston cigarettes in his pocket. My daddy smoked a lot. He was probably 2 to 3 packer a day. And that ain't good because he ended up having to have quadruple bypass surgery. And the doctor told him, if you don't quit smoking, he was 57 years old. I'm 63. He was 57. The doctor told him, if you don't quit smoking, you're going to come be right back in here in 10 years having another bypass surgery. So my daddy quit. Never had any more heart trouble. So moral of that story, cigarettes aren't good for you. So, but like Richter said, he paid attention to his daddy and what his daddy had and all. And I was the same way. I'd see my daddy lay it, he'd lay it in there on his nightstand, and he had just a trifold wallet, and had that pocket knife and that lighter, and I always remember hearing him, flick it open. Those Zippos have a distinct sound, and I have one I carry daily, and I don't even have anything in my pockets today, except for this lighter that I lit the fire with over here. But, I just left it all inside, but because I got knives out here or whatever. But, it just reminds me when Richter was talking about that about his dad, and he was talking about the knife community, you know, about different things, you know, how a knife gets to be kind of your favorite knife or whatever because you carry it and you get patina on it. And it's right in your pocket every day, you know, and I agree with that. I get attached to my knives. He talking about getting attached to them, and I get attached to them, you know, certain ones that you know, you get attached to, and you like carrying them, and I'm the same way, you know, most people are, I think. You know, I do swap them out, but I carry probably the same 5 or 6. So I just thought it was a good story Richter told about his dad and about his knife carry. You know, he talked about some people they carry, but some people like to collect them, and I collect them. I got knives I never carry, you know, but I keep them locked up. But you know, the ones I carry, you know, I carry pretty often, daily. You know, I've always carried a knife. My daddy bought me my first knife. My daddy bought me my first .22 rifle. My daddy bought me my first deer hunting rifle. My daddy carried me deer hunting the first time. My daddy carried me squirrel hunting the first time. My daddy carried me fishing the first time. My daddy's a veteran. My daddy went to work and worked hard. So, you know, when I heard Richter talk about that, talk about his dad, it really touched me inside. It touched my heart, you know, and I would say that's probably one of the best YouTube videos I've seen in a long time. When it can grab a hold of me and, you know, really touch me, it was a great job, Mr. Richter. But you know, wanted to cover that. Like I said, I'm down here in my leather shop. Today, it's a rainy day, so I told my wife I'm behind. I'm so behind with my leather work. I've got to come down here and make some stuff and get some stuff put online. You know, because I put stuff on. I've got this big tub. I try to keep a bunch of stuff in, but it's running low. So now I've got to make stuff, you know, and I got to stay caught up. Probably going to go full time with leather next year, early next year. So I'm trying to get my shop ready. My shop's basically ready. You know, this is part of it right here. You know, got my Knife Brotherhood board here. You know, you can see all the guys on here. But I would like to say I appreciate Tim School of Fish and Terry sending me their decal. Great guys, man. There's a lot of great guys in this knife community. You know, and I watched one of them yesterday, Mr. Richter. And I consider y'all guys my friends, you know. But I wanna say thanks to all the veterans. I know a lot of them. I'm not a veteran. I went and registered for the draft. I went and talked to the Marines. I told my mother and my daddy that I wanted to join the Marines. Well, my mama got upset and cried and got upset. She got I had a cousin that served in Vietnam, wanted to get him over there. You know, and I told my mom, I've already heard all the Vietnam stories, you know. And the reason I didn't go in because my mama was upset, and I just didn't want my mama to be upset. So changed my mind. So I just kept working, you know, which that worked out good. But I do regret not joining and serving my country, you know. So I try to do things for my country anytime I can. You know, I try to, like going on hurricanes, you know, doing that, helping people, tornadoes, ice storms, whatever. That's one of the reasons I do it. But, you know, I'm not going to, you know, not do things for my country. My country, this country is just, you know, I think about the people that's died and served and been maimed or hurt. I think about them today, and we should appreciate them. And I think about how they're treated. You know, and it makes me sad because, like I said, I know a lot of them, and you know, my daddy, he's a veteran. You know, he's a Korean veteran. So I just want to say I appreciate all you veterans out there. Just want to say God bless you. This is the greatest country on earth. We have some problems. We have some big problems right now, but it's still the greatest country on earth. Still the greatest country. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And Saturday stampede, amber jig bone, 75. Love this color box. And Big J, I do keep my boxes now. I used to throw some of them away, and I kind of regret it. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to my leather work. So y'all have a great day. Think about a veteran today. Do something for them. Have a great day. Stay warm. Have a great day.